So do you have big, ambitious dreams and goals? Are they coming true? If not, you're definitely going to want to listen to this next episode of La Dolce Vita, the formula for fabulous living, and learning the neuroscience of why writing down goals is the secret sauce for you to actually achieve them. So stay tuned. Frankie Lee, dimmi, quale senso della vita?
The meaning of life is to live la dolce vita, which is the formula for fabulous living.
Hi, my name is Heather Picken, and welcome to the La Dolce Vita show, the formula for fabulous living. I'm the catalyst in helping you to be more confident, create your dream business, and attract elite clients and live a fabulous life. Here's Heather helping you to upgrade your life to
fabulous. Upgrade your life to fabulous. Right, Frankie? You're fabulous.
Hey everyone, this is Heather Picken, and welcome to La Dolce Vita, the formula for fabulous living. Now, normally I do my shows pre-recorded, and I decided today that I wanted to try something different, although when I do Facebook Lives, they're actually live, they're not pre-recorded. So here's the deal. If you're watching this on iTunes or YouTube, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Rate, review on iTunes, and if you're on Facebook, drop a comment below. Today, I want to talk about the science of setting goals. Now, recently, over the weekend, I was reading an article in Forbes magazine that obviously confirmed what I've been talking about all day long, is that there is a science to setting goals and really creating the success that you want. Now, here's the thing. I work with ambitious people, primarily women, that want to set goals in their business. And I have a process. I have a proven scientific process that helps my clients to reach their goals. Now, when I was reading this article, it definitely went over some of the things that I knew was so important. And I think it's important to kind of explain the science behind it. So in this article, it was talking about how your brain is like an encoding system. So when you write down, think about your ambitious goals that you have. Now, first question, are you writing them down? If you're not, and you're not achieving them, that's part of the problem. So you want to write those down, but your brain is like an encoding system that is storing things. When you're writing down things on a piece of paper, it's storing those in a location, and that's important. What is the location? Well, the location is a piece of paper or wherever you write your goals down. Now, what I've actually designed this, and this is my 90-day planner. So when I'm working with my clients, what I do is I tell them to write down their goals. It's so important, because if you don't write down your goals, you're not gonna focus on what is most important to you. Now, the second thing in this article was talking about how the hippocampus in the brain, which is responsible for your memories, your emotions, and inspiration, the driving force for you to take action, also is working when you write things down on a piece of paper, right? Or wherever you're doing it. You can write it on a whiteboard. If you look at my studio, I've got a whiteboard over there. I'm surrounding myself with my goals. I'm a little OCD on my goals. So what I have my whiteboard. I have an online dashboard that I've created for my clients on setting the goals, and then I write it down in my book, right? So I have, because the brain likes to have these small pieces of information, I like to create 90-day goals, okay? That I find that works very well, because if you think about the whole picture, you might get a little bit overwhelmed if you have ambitious goals, okay? And so it's important. The brain likes to chunk down the pieces of information. Now, this is something I also discovered because I struggled for many years with a learning disorder, dyslexia. And I was just kind of finding out, why can't I retain information? Why is it hard for me to kind of process things? And, when I was reading a book back when I was in 4th grade, it took me like an hour just to read a page. My mind was wandering. I couldn't focus. And so that's where I really went on a journey to study how the mind works, how the brain works, how anyone could change the brain. So if you've been quote unquote diagnosed, I use that loosely because when you put a label on yourself, to me, a label is a complete lie. Because you believe it, you buy into that, right? And then you think something is wrong with you. And that's another discussion in and of itself. So let's go back to goal setting. So I want to share my process with you that I walk my clients through. And this all involves, the goal setting process and rewiring your brain. So one of the very first things, before you even set goals, let's backtrack. First, you want to understand what your unique formula is. And this is what I call my Dolce Vita formula. Your unique formula is based on your top 3 highest personal values. And what that is I want you to look at your life right now. What is your life demonstrating? It's not what you're saying that you want to do. It's what you're actually doing. And this is where people miss the boat. They're setting goals when they get to the goal setting part. They're setting goals that are unicorn, that are a fantasy that never come true. And so when I'm working with clients, and I work with very successful people, very ambitious people that want to go to the next level, and people that are really stuck. They're stuck in their business. They know they're absolutely fabulous in what they want to do, but there's something that's getting in their own way, and that is right between their ears, right? Their brain. So once we go through that, identifying what their highest personal values are, now the second step is getting crystal clear on your vision. And maybe you've seen my videos before and I talk about this. I'm very repetitive, and this is important. I don't want you to miss the boat. The reason why you want to get crystal clear on your vision, because if you don't, you will attract chaos into your life. That could be in the form of chaos with your clients, right? You're attracting clients that are a pain in the butt to work with. You're attracting something in your business and you're wondering, why am I attracting this, right? And so when you're understanding that there's a science of really getting clear, but it has to be based on what your highest personal values are. You've got to have that step before getting clear. They all work together. This is where I just absolutely love this process, because it works every single time if you do it in the right way. What you don't want to do is just look at someone else, look at one of your Facebook friends or someone on YouTube or Instagram, and start comparing yourself, and you look at their vision, you say, well, wait a minute, that should be my vision. Don't do that, okay? And I know it's challenging, right? It's challenging because it's kind of like the opium of the masses. Facebook, all these social media platforms, as much as I have a love-hate relationship, you really have to let go of trying to compare your goals and your dreams to someone else, because it's going to be a big distraction. And this is where if you really focus on you, if you just really focus on how amazing you are and what you really want to do, and you've got a plan, then you're going to take action, and you're going to forget about, everyone else, and you're just going to focus on why you're here, your purpose on this planet. And I am so certain about this process that if you follow it, watch out, okay? Be careful what you ask for. So I get excited about that. So, okay, we got the second process of getting clear. Now let's go to the goal setting. This is where the goal setting gets easier, because when you understand who you are, that you are so unique, you're like a snowflake. It's fingerprint specific with what your values are. Then it's easier for you to get clear with your vision, and your vision should be expansive. Okay, so if you have an ambitious goal, I want you to think about right now where you're at and how you want your business and life to evolve. What does that look like for the rest of your life? And then you chunk it down into your goals. So I usually, when I'm working with clients, I say, okay, what do you want to accomplish, for the first year? So here's your vision. Okay, we take a bird's eye view. Here's your vision. Then we go closer and we chunk it down. And so that might look like, here's what you're doing for year one. But then we go a step further. We break it down into 30, 60, 90 days, right? So with my planner, this is exactly what I go through. I show people how to focus on the highest priorities. Okay, so I put 4 in here. And so why 4? Every single day when you're looking at your goals, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick 4 of the highest priorities that you're going to work on. Why 4? Because if you try to give your brain more information, it's going to feel overwhelmed. What I find happens, because I primarily work with women entrepreneurs, although I do work with men, is that they'll create this whole to-do list of 20 million things a day and they'll never get them done. And then they won't feel like they've accomplished something. So this is a little brain hack. When you only focus on the 4 highest priority things of your day, when you're setting your goals, what happens is that you hit those 4 and you feel accomplished. I mean, how many of you have, put your check mark on your to-do list and go, oh, I feel so good. So guess what? After you've hit all 4, if you have room for more, then go ahead and do it. It's pretty simple, but do not get in the habit of taking on so much. So when I'm helping my clients to build their business, we talk about, in the framework of goal setting, do we need to delegate? Do you need to hire a team? What are the other elements that you need in order to be successful? And that is really critical. So those that are watching this now on Facebook Live, I'm hoping this is helping you. Are you getting golden nuggets of information? Are you understanding that there's an actual science of creating your goals, but you've got to have those 3 things. And, part of the goal setting process, what I recommend is you have a morning success ritual. Every person I've interviewed that is very successful, people that I read about, they keep saying a morning routine, a morning routine. It's like a broken record. And so if you don't have a morning routine, realize that is going to put you further away from achieving your goals. So the morning routine, what does that do? Well, it gets your brain into repetition. And when you're creating a repetition, what happens is you're starting to rewire the brain so it feels normal. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. It might feel like you automatically say, oh, I can't do this. I'm busy. I have to get the kids, to school. I've got to do that. And I want you to really, take a serious look at your morning routine. If you don't have one, you want to start putting that in place and realize in the beginning, it's going to feel a little weird. Okay. So those of you that work out first thing in the morning, I personally can't do that. I have to work out later in the afternoon, but you feel better. Maybe your morning routine at first, when you were starting it, working out, you felt, oh, I don't know if I can get up. And then afterwards, you felt inspired. You felt like you could start your day. So I don't believe that you have to work out first thing in the morning. I believe that is a personal choice. Because if you're telling me all I have to do is work out in the first, beginning of the day and everything's going to be great, I'm going to be miserable, because that's not how I'm wired. How I am wired is I get up in the morning, have my coffee, I read my vision statement, I'm creating my day. I have a specific repetition that I've been following for years, and it's working. So when you're looking at your day, I want you to pick a place that you are going to be in goal setting mode. So you want to write it down. You have a piece of paper, you're writing it on your computer. I don't care doing it, but you've got to have a space where you feel aligned and inspired. So I have a couple spaces. So I'll either come down to my La Dolce Vita studio, where I am right now, or I'll be upstairs in the bedroom on my couch, and I will go through my routine. And so what you want to do is, as you go through your routine, I want you to notice, let's just say it's day 1, maybe day 1's tomorrow. I want you to notice and really create what I call that conscious connection of how doing your morning routine is making you feel. And maybe you'll notice what I call kind of this syncing up event. And a syncing up event is, because I'm doing this, I'm feeling different, and these things are actually materializing. So I think those are important, because when you make that, what I call this conscious connection in your brain, then you realize, wow, because I've done this, then this happens, right? It's the law of cause and effect. So I like to make people aware and observe how the brain works, how powerful you are in setting your goals, achieving anything and everything that you want. And this is the key, that is aligned with your highest personal values. That is the secret. What you don't want to do, as I mentioned before, is looking at everyone else and setting goals based on their life, because you're going to beat yourself up. And this is what people do the most. They look at someone else and they beat themselves up, and it's the comparison. And that is so deadly. I know, because I've done that. Trust me. I'm just speaking my truth. I learn from my own failures, but to me, it's not really about failing. It's about understanding how you're wired as a human being, and to not limit your potential. And that's the key. You know, when you understand how powerful your brain works, you know, it really does work. You might not think it works, but you'll never want to go back to your old ways of thinking and being. But be patient with yourself. So when I'm working with clients, when they're first trying to rewire their brain, they're getting into this repetition, sometimes, you know, they start beating themselves up because, well, Heather, I wasn't 100% perfect. Well, you don't have to be perfect, right, Frankie? You don't have to be perfect. Yeah, he actually, when you think about an animal, they are so, I call Pavlov, they're so Pavloved to having routines, right? He knows certain words, which I'm not going to say right now, which are connected. They're wired in his little animal brain. And if I say it right now, he's going to go crazy. So I'm not going to say it. So, but anyways, you know, and of course our brains are so different. We actually can act like animals in a way when we're highly charged in an I can't even talk, in an emotional state, right? I call it your freak out zone. When you're freaking out about something, you're in your animal mind. And if you don't have reflective awareness, it's hard to pull yourself, you know, away from that. So anyways, I hope this has been helpful. Let me know, do you have a routine, a daily routine? Are you setting goals? And do you really understand your unique formula? If you don't, I encourage you to pick up a copy of my latest book, the Dolce Vita Formula, which you can find at fearlessandfabulousbook.com. That's fearlessandfabulousbook.com. So I'm just inspired to talk about this topic because, again, you know, my void of feeling, you know, that I didn't really understand who I was and how my brain was wired is really that driving force to help not only myself, but of course other people to really create those ambitious goals and go after their dreams. So again, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, drop in a comment, private message me. Are you struggling with setting your goals? Are they not coming true? Are you in your own way? Are you freaking out about the future? There's so many things that stop people from really focusing on their goals. And let me know if this has been helpful. Until next time, this is Heather Picken with La Dolce Vita, the formula for fabulous living. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. So if you found this show to be fabulous, please share with your fabulous friends, rate, review, and subscribe on YouTube and iTunes. Wow. And I'll make sure I take a beatbox lesson, right? Or give my little chihuahua a bone. That's me. Fabulous.